Now my GPX750R, I always consider as a motorcycle that's been frozen in time. There's features on this bike that just didn't make it as motorcycle technology evolved. I'll go through some of them in the course of this video. But looking back over the years, and this is an '89 bike, the bike is still a ton of fun to ride and so nostalgic to think about all those things that didn't make it. And you can watch this and enjoy it in 4K, just adjust your device. It's time to do what we always do best, move motorcycles around, get this guy out on a ready to go list. I'm ready to go for a ride, and it's always nice having these bikes all set to go, but I always have to move them around. It's uncanny how the one I want to ride can never be in the front. Now my humble collection is one bike from every 10-year period roughly. And so what it allows me to do is compare older bikes with newer bikes, bikes that are 40 years old with ones that are 4 years old. And there's a lot of things, this bike in particular, I call it frozen in time, because there's features on this bike the manufacturers tried to make work. I think most of the manufacturers tried, and eventually they just gave up. And on a new bike, when I compare it to a new bike, it has features that work perfectly and they'll never quit, like traction control, ABS, and all of the modern features, the modes that you can put it in. It's such a nice thing to be able to ride a modern bike one day and then come back and have a bike that absolutely has been frozen in time. And I don't mean any one thing in particular, and I'm going to detail those out as we go through the video, but I want to get out on the open road, and I always do check the air. It's just from my background in aviation and owning an airplane, it makes me always want to have things neat and clean and mechanically correct, and I'm willing to pay the price, and I usually do. And of course, having a radar detector so I don't become a victim of, maybe I'm not even a victim, I don't know. Anyway, feeding the fish, checking out Karen's garden. There's always something to water, something to take care of. She always has a list for me. And usually if I go out ahead of her, I'll pick her a fresh flower for the kitchen table, or maybe two. We have no shortage of flowers this year. And it gets my day started off in the right direction. Just knowing that I can maintain these, and I love looking at them in the morning. And I always do this before I actually get ready for a ride. Now, when I think about this time of motorcycle development, I think of one of the things the manufacturers tried, 16-inch front wheels. Now, this bike has a 16-inch front wheel and an 18-inch back wheel. Now, that made for some nice, nimble, quick handling. It had other good features, but I don't think the selection of tires really ever amounted to the type that you could have if you had standard 17-inch rims. But they did try it. They tried it for several years. Luciano's GPZ has 16-inch wheels too. But it was something that just didn't make it. It was frozen in time. Another development in the history of motorcycle evolution, the anti-dive that was on the front forks. My GS has it. Several other bikes have something similar. Several of Luciano's bikes that I've ridden have it. It never seemed to work out as well in the real world as it did on a drawing board. And I think Turbo Steve's bike has the same, that Turbo bike has it too. But anyway, it's something they tried in the course of developing things. But again, if you don't try these things, you never know if they're going to work. And the manufacturers were all having a race to see who could come to market first with one that worked. I know on any bike I've ever ridden with it, it seems marginally useful. And I know racers, the first thing they did when they race these bikes is disconnect it. Another frozen in time item that this bike has, and it's an air shock. You can adjust the pressure up and down with just a low pressure gauge. Thomas Luciano has it on his GPZ2, very similar. But again, it never really caught on. Now, one of the downsides of having a frozen in time bike like this, well, the tires that are available now are, first off, they're limited by very few manufacturers. They also are very hard to get, and when you get one, sometimes it's 4 or 5 years old. They're not really making them. Another little frozen in time feature of this bike. Now, several other people that have ridden this bike commented on how comfortable it was. The handlebars are in a good position. I made the risers myself. I machined them up so that it would suit me. They're adjustable up and down in 1/4-inch increments. And that seemed to work out really, really well for me. And I have 2 seats for the bike, and this one just fit me just to a T. Now, my friend Paul, who's also a modeler, and he commented how much he likes the Camaro paint. That is standard Camaro paint. And when Kent Tyser got his Camaro, and I saw pictures of it, I kind of was doing this like a little bit to copy him. But it worked out that the color just worked out great, and it coordinates with the Yamaha blue. So it's kind of like a one-of-a-kind frozen in time paint job, if you will. And most people have seen it, seem to like it. And Karen and I have a lot of things that are frozen in time. Our house is over 100 years old, and the fact that we like to grow our own vegetables, maybe Karen and I are frozen in time. Maybe you are too, I don't know. But there's something about older things. They bring back memories. Sometimes you don't even know what they bring back, but you like the certain feel, and this bike is definitely one of them. And that's what makes having a bike collection like my humble collection, where every bike is very different. Each and every one brings you back to a different time in motorcycle development that's frozen in time. Now, I've mentioned this before. There's a movie on YouTube. You can get it right on YouTube. And the name of the movie is Frozen in Time, about Daryl Greenemeyer and the Keybird rescue of a B-29. It's something I think everybody that loves aviation, and most of the people that love motorcycling, would enjoy watching. If you haven't seen it, the name of the show is, it's a 1-hour movie called Frozen in Time. It's a true story, and it is really worth watching. Oh, what a beautiful day, but it's time to head back to our beautiful 100-year-old house and all of the things that we love about being frozen in time. Just another beautiful day here in the beginning of fall, and it is just absolutely beautiful out. It's perfect riding weather. It just couldn't be a lot nicer than this. And I hope you enjoy sharing these rides with us, and that you'll join us again in the future. And it's amazing how a collection of old motorcycles that are frozen in time can keep an old man like me young. And thanks so much for watching.